Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Jennifer with Scissorsandlove, and today we are going to be making this super adorable Valentine treat mailbox. Now I made one of these for all of my customers who placed an order with me in January. So if you placed an order with me, you should be getting one of these any day now. I originally saw this project last year on May Made It, and then I saw an adaptation that Helen Griffin did to be able to fit these super cute Ferrero Rocher candies. Neither version had this little handle, and I really wanted these to be portable, so I then added my own twist to it. I will link to both the May video and to Helen's video down in the description so you can go back to the originals. One quick thing I want to address, a question that I did receive from one of my viewers the other day. And she expressed concern over all the scratches and scars you see on my hands and on my wrist, and she also asked about my tattoo. 3 very simple answers. 1, I have a young kitten, so that's what all these little scratches and most of the scars are from. The second easy answer, I'm super clumsy. This is a burn scar from when I was cooking. That's all it is. I'm perfectly okay. The third quick answer, this tattoo, obviously it says diabetic type 1. That's because I am a type 1 diabetic. Easy enough. Let's jump in and I will show you everything you need to make today's project. All the materials you need will be in the description below, along with a link to my blog where you can find the measurements and the instructions. Let's get started. So we don't have a whole lot of cutting to do today. This project actually is a lot simpler than it looks. You're going to need a piece of Whisper White 4 1/8 by 5 1/8 paper, a piece of patterned paper cut 6 inches to 2 7/8 inches. Now this is DSP that you can actually get for free in the Sale-a-Bration catalog. It is on page 13. It's called the Bubbles and Fizz Designer Series paper. It comes 12 by 12 and it comes with 2 sheets of each design. You can get this free with a qualifying purchase, and I'm using this one because I love the hearts on this side, but you can also see the little bubbles on the other side, which are super fun. And I'll give you a sneak peek into next month's customer thank you gift that I also use this paper for, which is this super adorable tea bag. You are also going to need 2 pieces of Whisper White, or whatever color you want to use, that measure 1 1/2 inches by 2 7/8 inches. This is going to be this part here, and then this part here as well. I promise you it's a whole lot easier than I'm making it sound, so just bear with me. You're going to need a scrap of white to stamp on. You're going to need a small solid color strip, and then 1 more piece of paper, and that's it, I promise. You're going to need a strip of solid color paper, or not paper. I keep saying paper. It's not paper, it's cardstock. You want a solid piece of cardstock that's going to measure 6 1/4 inches by 1/4 inch. And that's it. That's all the paper you need. We're going to need our scoreboard for this, but we don't have a lot of scoring. Let me grab my scoreboard. Okay, the first thing we're going to score is our base. Alright? On the long side, okay, which is our 5 1/8 side, we are going to score it at 1 3/8. If I could use the right side here. And we are going to score it at 4 1/4, still on the long side. Then we're going to flip it around to the short side, and again we're going to score at 1 3/8 and 2 6/8. Now if your scoring board is like mine and measures in 8s, 6/8 is super easy, okay, because each of these little slots is an 8. You don't have to count 6 down unless you just really like counting. Math is not my gig, so I don't like counting. All you have to do is go to your 3 and count backwards by 2. Less counting. Happy people. Alright, so this one is done scoring. We're going to now grab our DSP, our patterned paper, and this is really easy. You just score it at 3/4 of an inch on two sides. We're going to go to 3/4, and then you're going to flip it completely around and do exactly the same thing. One more thing, and then we're done with scoring. So we're going to take our 6 1/4 inch piece of cardstock, and we're going to score it at 5 7/8, and then you're going to flip it around and do exactly the same thing. But that's it, okay? I hope you guys are with me so far. You're going to need a pair of really sharp snips because we've got a little bit of cutting to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut. That was unintentional. Okay. You got a long side, you've got a short side. We are going to be cutting here, 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 and here, okay? Don't cut anything else. Do not cut these sides, because if you cut these sides instead of these sides, you're going to end up with a Chinese takeout box or something that's super cute and looks just like it. So let's cut right here, and I'm going to cut on the inside of that score line. All right, and then I'm going to cut, see that little bit of extra we have there? I'm actually going to cut that off, and I'm going to cut a small wedge. And the reason for doing that is because we're eventually going to be folding this together. And that wedge is going to make this part of the box lay flatter. You'll thank me later. So just go ahead and cut all of those wedges and come back and see me. Don't worry, I'll wait. Okay, did you get all your little cuts made? So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this on the score lines. If your mailbox is like mine, the front of it opens out like this. So what I'm going to do on this box is show you how you can make yours so that it opens out. So with the original box, the whole box would pull right out. But with this one, I'm going to show you how to make one that opens out like this. First, we need to adhere these back flaps to this front flap. For that, I'm going to use my Tombow, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the edges. You don't need much with Tombow. It's really fast and really, really sticky. And you could use double-sided tape for this. You could use Fast Fuse, which, by the way, we're about to have a sale on. You could use tear and tape. It really doesn't matter. I just prefer Tombow because it's so fast. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these sides, and I'm actually going to bring this up on the short side just to make sure that I can get my lines straight and that everything is even. And I'm just going to squeeze that together, and look at it's already done. I also like the Tombow because it gives me a few seconds of wiggle time. So if I don't get my edges perfectly straight or I need to make a change or adjust, I do have those extra precious seconds, which are fantastic. Now, if you wanted to make this a full slide out box like the original, it's super easy. All you have to do is adhere these two sides to the inside just like we did on the end. I want mine on this one to fold out. What I'm going to do is take my snips, and I'm actually going to trim this edge and this edge. So I'm going to take from my scored edge to my bottom corner, and I'm just going to make a straight cut. You can curve yours, you can do whatever you want. What's my motto? It's your project. Do it the way you like it. I promise you I'm not going to come to your house and say, oh my gosh, you did it wrong. You must remake your project. And now I'm going to also square off right here. Just cut that tip off and do the same over here. I'm going to eyeball it. There is no exact measurement. Please don't ask me for one because I don't have one. I'm literally making this up as I go. So now that is right there. Let me show you with the finished top that we already have so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing here. So we have this. It is closed. See? And you can pull and just open up just like that. Now if you want to, and I'll even do it right now, you could take a 3/4 inch circle punch and punch a little thumb hole right there. I'm going to just punch a small bit out of here. And now we have a little thumb hole. It is not centered, and I am perfectly okay with that. If that would bug you, I would suggest centering your punch first. We are actually done with our box, so we're going to set it aside. And we're going to work on our patterned piece. Now remember I showed you on this one that it's bent. Kind of looks like a little wagon. You know, like the old covered wagons. Now I want to go watch Little House on the Prairie, but that's a whole other story. To do this bend, I personally prefer to condition the paper. And by condition, all I mean is I'm going to run my finger under this paper just to pull it out a little bit. And you see how it's already curving naturally? What that does is it breaks up the paper fibers just a little bit so that they start to bend to your will. And if you ever meet my husband, he can tell you that making things bend to my will is my ultimate goal in life and almost never works. But for this it does. So just bend it a little bit. And that way it will work with you and not against you, and you're not fighting your paper. Nobody likes to fight paper. It's not fun. Okay? Now, take the ends of your paper, you probably can't see it on this side, right where your score mark is, and you're just going to fold it in and crease it down. Do the same with the other side. You want to make sure you have a nice crease on both sides because it's going to come in handy. Remember I told you you needed to cut 2 bottom pieces? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first bottom piece, we're going to grab our adhesive. If you choose to use the Tombow, definitely less is more, and you will have squidgies. You know, that's a very technical term. Squidgy meaning the glue that seeps out of your seal once you get it in. So we're going to take the long edge of our bottom piece and we're going to line it up. I pretty much just like to start here and run it down. We're going to line it up with that score edge and we're going to press down on the flap that we scored up. See that? It does not have to be perfect here. That's going to get covered, so don't stress over it too much. And we're just going to turn around and we're going to do exactly the same thing. So we're going to line it up, again, with that score mark, and just seal it shut. Easy peasy. If you're going to stamp, hey, I made this and I'm awesome, so appreciate my glory, or whatever you want, on the bottom of your project, like I did here, now is the time to do that. You want this on your very last bottom piece, because we are going to take this bottom piece, and we're going to glue it right here. This is why I said it didn't really matter if you got these even, because nobody is going to see them. Not unless they sit here and start prying up your stuff and pulling all the paper apart, at which point, you know what, they deserve to see funky edges, because who takes that stuff apart? So you're going to, once again, adhesive, and just glue that right on there. Try to make your edges meet. It is the same length. If it doesn't meet, that's okay, because now you've got a cute frame around the bottom of your piece here. See, I've got a little bit of red frame all the way around. It'll all work out, don't worry. Okay, just stick your fingers in there, or if you are like my daughter and you have short fingers, this is what we do. We grab a tool. It's a paintbrush. This is high tech, I'm telling you. Just stick your paintbrush in there, rub it back and forth. You are good to go. Now, we have the top of our box. We have the actual box. One more thing before we test out our candy holdage area, also a technical term. You're going to need that 6 1/4 inch piece. This is our handle, and we're going to go ahead and put this on now. Grab your scored end and fold it either way, up or down. Just make sure whatever you do on the right side, you also do on the left side. Condition your paper again. Once it's the way you want it, you're going to put adhesive on the inside of where you fold it. Hope that makes sense for you. Somebody sent me a comment and asked me why I never use dry glue stick. It's a personal preference. Honestly, I don't like the glue sticks. It could just be user error. It absolutely could just be how I'm working with them. But I find that they do not stick, especially for these 3D projects where you need to be able to pick it up and move it around. The stick either isn't strong enough or it just doesn't stay. If you have great luck and you have found the glue stick of your dreams and that is what works for you, rock on. There's nothing wrong with it. Go for it. It just doesn't work for me. That's the only reason I don't use it. Okay, so what I've done is I've stuck that scored edge again up. I butted it up against the rim here and stuck the flap underneath. See right there? And I'm going to turn around and do exactly the same thing. I'm just going to match up the edge with the edge of the cover. Try to make it as even as I can without measuring it. Because frankly, if I pull out my ruler right now, my kitten will go berserk and try to come and visit. I'm just going to press that on, and there we go. We have a handle. So let's test this out and see if it will hold our Ferrero Rocher. I hope I'm saying that right. We've got 1, 2, and I just really feel like I need to point out I am not being sponsored by Ferrero Rocher. Grab these off the shelf at my local grocery store. With that though, I will say, hey Ferrero Rocher, if you want to ever sponsor me, I am so okay with that because everybody in my family loves your stuff. So we know 2 will fit in the box. I'm going to slide the box inside of here, and it is a bit of a tight fit, but it's nothing major, and it's designed that way so that your box doesn't just slide out every time you pick it up. Alright, so now we need to make our little flag here. I am going to be using the high and the 2 hearts from the Coffee Cafe stamp set, and that stamp set is on page 31 of the annual catalog 2017-2018. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scrap Whisper White piece, and I'm just going to ink this up in black. You could do any color. You could do a color to match your designer paper if you wanted to. So I'm going to stamp it once right here, and I'm going to stamp it a second time. And what we're going to be doing is punching these out with a 1-inch circle punch. There we go. Let me grab that 1-inch punch and just center it. Okay. So for your flagpole, you want to grab that 1 scrap strip of black paper. You can put your flagpole wherever you want. I'm going to put mine right about here. And I'm just going to grab my snips and snip off a bit. And then I'm going to figure out how long I want it to stick out from here. Alright, I think that's cute. And we're going to glue these 2 pieces together. Now for this, I really would recommend you use Tombow or another liquid adhesive just because it's such a tiny spot. And there we go. Now I'm going to pull out my 2 circles, and I'm going to take the first one, add a little bit of adhesive right to this corner, and I'm going to stick this first. This is going to be my front. I'm going to stick this, I think, right here in the corner. I'm going to flip this over, put adhesive on the back of my circle flag and on my post here. I'm just going to hold that together for just a moment, just to make sure everything dries and doesn't get ooky. Another technical term. We're full of technical terms today. I'm going to make the end of this into a banner. And you guys know how to do this by now. I'm going to snip up a little bit in the center, and then we're going to go from corner to snip and do that again. We have a little banner. Not perfect, but that's okay because neither am I. Now all we have to do is adhere this to our mailbox, and I think I'm gonna put mine right about here. Dab on a little bit of adhesive right there, and I'm gonna put the bottom of my post right there on the edge. Well guys, there you go. If you enjoyed today's project and you want to see more, please consider subscribing and bring a friend. Also, if you're not already working with a demonstrator and you'd like to receive a catalog, I would love to earn your business. Just click on the Contact Me link in the description below and I'll get right back to you. Thanks so much for coming, thanks for pressing play, and have the best day ever. Bye!